have the market cornered on ugly wins. There's no doubt that this wasn't pretty. Though in that stretch in the fourth quarter, it looked kind of pretty. At the end of the third and fourth quarter, it looked like really good basketball. But I thought, even though we were down, we kept fighting. I thought we had a lot of playbook murder going on early. Just really not getting into our sets, or not consistently getting the shots we wanted, or we're too slow to get into actions. But I thought we battled defensively all night. They're a really good ball screen team, and they just kept ball screening us. And for the most part, I thought we defended them well. A team that averages over 90 points a game, to hold them to 70 might be their lowest output of the season. So I'm really proud of our defensive effort. I thought we got great contributions. It was good to have Sykes back. Dantas' minutes were huge. Even Blake, Blake was just solid. She just guards the heck out of people, doesn't try to do anything outside what she's comfortable doing, and doesn't make many mistakes. And then Mo, she was, to me, Mo Billings was the difference tonight. I opened the playbook up and ran some different actions. We got her a lob. We put her in a situation where, we could drive her down the lane line, and she's super springy, and she was fresh. And so her minutes were pretty spectacular.
Coach, you guys are down, double digits at the half. What is your message to the team going into the third quarter?
Well, I just thought we had to execute better. I thought, ultimately, as discombobulated as we looked in the first half, we still, missed 8 foul shots, and could have been right in the mix, had we made our foul shots. So, the message was like, keep going downhill against them. We're the more athletic team, but we've got to keep getting the ball to the rim. And, we just had to keep guarding them and keep staying together and really get on the same page. There's only 5 players out there, but it's amazing when you're trying to get 5 people in motion. If one person doesn't know where they're supposed to be or what they're supposed to do, it throws the other 4 off. And we just had a little too much of that early. And I don't know if it's us being on the road and then bouncing back and kind of the back and forth. And, we've had basically 2 practices in the last 2 weeks. So, you don't get to a lot of review and things like that. We'll be home more in July and kind of get back to being in the gym regularly. But it's hard when you're on the road as much as we've been.
Do you have any questions for the players? Because I want to get them out as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Brittney, how did it feel being back tonight?
Man, it felt great. I think just coming in, I just had the mindset to, I sat out 4 or 5 games, and I watched our mistakes. I watched the things we did good. I watched things we did great. So my mental coming into today was just, making sure that I add to it and not take away. I know that maybe my shot wasn't going to fall. Kept shooting it. Coach gave me confidence, telling me kept going to the basket. My free throws, I missed 4 of them. It's just one of those first game back jitters and getting that rustiness out. I felt good. I felt great. My foot is feeling good. So I'm just happy Coach had trusted me to play this game, and my teammates had my back while I was out. And now that I'm back, it feels like I never missed a beat. So that's a good thing. I love it.
You did great. You did great rebound.
Thank you.
Great rebound. Had to sharpen up them elbows because they were holding that.
Why should you do that? What you do? You just how you sharpen it?
But see, that's the fun.
Let's keep it to questions. Anyone got a question for the players?
Angel, you got the flow going early on, the start game. The second half, you kind of controlled the offense for the team, letting everybody get involved. Talk about how you're really putting your imprint on the team now.
I just want, everybody to be involved, as much as possible. I think that, we're getting better with learning each other. But, we just got to keep improving because the season's not that long. If you really think about it, it's only really 2 months left. So, time is kind of the essence at this point.
Any other questions for the players? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
I'll see you right next.
All right, see y'all, Monday.
And say, let's go dream.
DJ, say it.
Yes.
See y'all.
Okay.
All right. Any comments?
Oh, say it. Wow.
Coach, talk about how Monique the game is starting to slow down for her, and she's really starting to get comfortable in running all of the sets that you like to play in.
Well, I think some of it is just she's now senior. She's seeing these teams for the second time. So, I never question that she's going to come in with a lot of energy, and kind of play her game. But it's the little things. It's being where she's supposed to, and it's taking opponents' tendencies away. Because when you're used to being more athletic than 99% of the people that you play against, this is a whole different level. You use your athleticism against Chennai, and she's going to get you in a secondary move. You're going to leave your feet, she's going to step around you. So I think she's starting to understand how important understanding the playbook is, our software system. She's probably put more time than anybody on our team in terms of preparing, and those are things that we can see and look at, you know, and know that she's gotten on and she knows our opponent because she's been on watching, because we can see who's on and who's not, you know. So, I mean, I think like I said, I'm never worried that she's going to give us like a burst of energy. It's just, and at that time, that's what I thought we needed. I thought we needed a burst of energy, and you know, when she puts the ball in the basket, that just, you know, is icing on the cake.
You're only outscored by 2 points by points in the paint. That margin was a lot higher in the first half. What was the difference between the first half and the second half as far as getting more points inside?
Well, I mean, we had 4 points in the paint in the first half, for gosh sakes. All our points were basically at the foul line. So, you know, I mean, some of it was just a change in philosophy of just really getting them to understand we had to get into early actions, we had to get up into step-ups and drags, ball screens early, and to just get them going downhill. We kept using that term of getting them going downhill. You know, that team's learning to play without Alyssa Thomas, and whether it's short-term or long-term, she's such a key cog into how they play and what they do. And so now all of a sudden their post depth is different, and when you're bringing in Brianna Jones, like, and that's who's hedging screens instead of Alyssa Thomas, all of a sudden, you know, getting them to understand that, well, yes, that they're capable of making a pull-up, like give a little hesitation and get by Brianna Jones. Like that's more advantageous than shooting a jumper over. So, you know, we really got into like, let's get the ball into the paint, let's attack, and then play inside out. Because, you know, hitting open shots from the three has not been our strength, you know, through 13 games. So, you know, we made a couple key ones late. Renee made a couple huge threes. Especially one of them that was late in the shot clock that she knocked down. But yeah, I mean, we had to. I mean, that's a team that's going to play through the paint because of Chennai and JJ, and so you know we kind of had to match that to some degree.
Coach, talk about your team fight. You guys seem to never stop, never quit.
Yeah.
Out of 13 games,
And we play hard. I told them that in the locker room. I told them, I said, sometimes no matter how bad we can look at times in terms of turning the ball over or missing, I mean, that 2-on-1 break, holy smokes, with Angel and Renee, you know, you just shake your head as a coach because you've got two great pros and a 2-on-1, and that's just should be candy to them. But we never quit, you know, no matter whether I joked with them the other day that I've been Patty positive, like, all season, and I turned to negative Nancy for a day, and that didn't work in New York, so I was back on the, you know, Patty positive bandwagon. But you got to kind of like sometimes cheerlead them into just keep playing hard, and sometimes just when you continue to play hard, then you get a break, and it's one break, it's one shot, and then it gets rolling in the direction you need it to go, which is what I thought happened during that run, you know, where we got downhill, we got in transition. Multiple players were scoring. It wasn't one player, but you know, Mo was really big during that stretch.
Coach, can you talk to me? We know you're a great defensive team, but can you tell me like the offensive identity that this team has?
Well, I mean, early we were trying to play through Angel. We thought we had a decided advantage, you know, with her, and she certainly didn't let us down early in the game that way. But I think we want to be a team that, quite frankly, plays a lot like Connecticut. You know, when you see them playing well and you see them like screening and separating and slipping screens, and then, you know, when Chennai doesn't get it, she quickly runs back up into another screen and really get, you know, you saw, I thought, you know, maybe the best pass of the night was Brittney came off the high ball screen, Elizabeth rolled, and she hit Elizabeth down the lane line for a layup. Like, I think we can get Elizabeth in more actions like that. You know, she's not been super effective on low block catches, but that kid can move, you know, and so we want to get our post moving, rolling, rising. You know, Dee Dee probably our most versatile post in terms of her ability to play inside out, but, you know, really creating great spacing, and at times we just didn't have good spacing. And so, you know, when we look ugly, a lot of times it's because our spacing is bad, and you know, sometimes the hardest thing to do as a great player is to keep the width of the floor covered, because you kind of want to chase the ball. Like, where's the ball at? I want to be near to the ball. And so we have a tendency to do that at times, and then we cluster, you know, and we're not. And so, I mean, it takes time, and we haven't, I mean, training camp was great. We looked good in training camp, but that was, 6 weeks ago, and you go every other game, and it's scouting and game planning, and so it's really hard to sometimes go back and like work on the little things that you kind of need to be successful when you're trying to like, really have a system in place.
Any other questions? No? Thank you.